Comments. At this time, members of the public may address the Board of Trustees regarding a matter of public interest not appearing on the agenda. No action may be taken on comments of off-agenda items unless specifically authorized by law. If the speaker wishes to address the Board of Trustees on an item on the agenda, time will be provided at the commencement of that item. In addition, the speaker may use his or her time during public comments to speak on the agenda item if he or she wishes, but shall only speak once on the same agenda item. In order to address the Board of Trustees, the speaker shall complete and turn in a blue card to the Board of Trustees recording secretary prior to the start of the open session of the board meeting. If the blue card is turned in after the start of open session, the speaker will have the opportunity to speak during any other public communications to the Board of Trustees later in the meeting. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Clerk Clayton Tarver, do we have any public speakers this evening?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you. N, moving right along, N, communications. N1, written communications to the board. Superintendent?
Yes, we have a few. We have 3 written communications from Chris Dean, March 24th, March 25th, and April 9th. Excuse me, March 24th, 27th, and April 9th, and one from Jonathan Rogers, dated March 25th.
Okay, thank you. N2, board committee reports. Superintendent?
No reports this evening.
N3, trustees communications. We will start with Trustee Westwell.
Well, I'd just like to thank all the classified and certificated teachers of the year and classified employees of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Trustee Singer, do you want to do? No comments this evening?
No comments.
Okay. Trustee Clayton Tarver?
Good evening. Thanks for being here past the real fun, which were all the awards to our wonderful classified employees of the year and also the certificated employees of the year. And I'm going to be pleased to be at the Orange County Department of Education tomorrow morning to be able to see awards given out there as well. And also at tomorrow morning there is a special event at multiple schools in the school district. And as you can see, we all have a blue pinwheel here. And I believe Dr. Hansen's going to talk about this in a little bit. But anyway, I think at Lakeview there's going to be an event, and I plan to attend that as well. And I just really appreciate all the work that's gone into making this happen too. It's for Child Abuse Prevention Month. It's also Parent-Teacher Conference Week. Oh, students too, because it's middle school week. And students come to these meetings with their parents. And last week, before we actually went on vacation, there were parent conferences at the elementary. So thank you to all the teachers and parents for getting together and talking about your students' progress. Open houses are going on now and throughout the month. And those are always exciting, and hope that you can get around the different schools to see what's going on in our classrooms. It's really the showcase for the year for the children and their work. This couple weeks ago, I actually attended the California Federation of Teachers Convention. I happen to be a teacher in a nearby school district, and I'm a delegate to and a rep to my teachers union, and it was interesting to go to the convention this year and hear all about the different candidates that are running for statewide offices and so forth, and the different propositions we're going to be supporting. And there's a lot of excitement going on. Remember, there's an election coming up on June 5th. You have to get out to vote. And if you're an absentee ballot voter, your ballot will be coming to your mailbox on May 5th. Make sure that as soon as you get your ballot, that you fill it out and either send it back with extra postage. And the reason why we need extra postage this year is because there's so many candidates running that it really made the ballot heavy. No joke. So you have to put on extra postage. It's 71 cents this time. It's not the regular forever stamp. Or you can take your ballot over to the Registrar of Voters in Santa Ana, or you can go and drop it off on the day of the election on June 5th. Please get out to vote. It's very important in these primaries, especially in a district like ours, California 48 for the Congress, which we have a pretty interesting race going on. Also, I attended an event called March for Your Lives, which was a protest and a rally against gun violence in schools, and it was totally organized by high school students, and it was really a phenomenal event. I went to the one at Santa Ana with 6,000 people in attendance. Thank you.
Thank you. good evening. This is why I love following Trustee Clayton Tarvin. She pretty much gets all of my homework out of the way. I would like to thank the classified staff, or congratulate the classified staff and the certificated staff for the award winners this evening. Great job. We do have, I've always said it, and I'll say it again, we have some of the best teachers and classified staff around. I think that's apparent from the applause that you saw and the number of people that showed up and have now left the room. I would like to remind you, this Friday, there is an art show, a student art show at the Huntington Beach Art Center downtown. It's all day, but the festivities for our school really get started around between 5 and 6. I would encourage all of you to show up. That's Friday the 13th. It's not a joke, it actually is happening. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, admission is free, and you can walk around the gallery after the opening and see some of the great artwork that our students have done from around the school, from around the district. It's a good time. I attended it last year. There's a dance performance in the room next door. Some really phenomenal work there, especially if you, not only if you have students in it, but maybe if you have students going on from elementary to the middle schools, you can kind of see what to expect and what is some of the great work they do. It's really phenomenal. That being said, I'm going to move us right along to N4, Superintendent's Communications. Superintendent.
Well, good evening. I'd like to welcome Trustee Singer to our board, and I look forward to forging an effective working relationship with you, and I support you in your new position, and anything that myself and our cabinet can do to help you transition to this position, we're happy to assist you. I also too would like to congratulate all of our employees of the year. I agree with President Sowers. We do have the most fabulous employees. It is wonderful to see those classified employees and also our teachers of the year. And we look forward to future celebrations, especially tomorrow, where we will get to honor Arthur from Harborview as one of the county representatives down there at the Orange County Department of Ed. I wanted to just follow up from Clerk Clayton Tarvin's comment about the pinwheel garden. So we, Ocean View, is collaborating with the Raise Foundation, which is an organization that talks about child protection awareness. And during the month of April, they are focused their attention on keeping children happy and healthy. And we're encouraging our children to join in by showing kindness to one another. And the Ocean View schools, more of half of them, are planting these pinwheel gardens tomorrow. And I will be at Lakeview School, and they will be planting their pinwheel gardens. And the Raise's executive director, Eldon Barber, will be there to join in. So any board, I guess Trustee Clayton Tarvin will be there, and anyone else would like to join in at that event to celebrate the pinwheel gardens. Also, I will be at our the HB Art Center for our art show. It does begin at 5 p.m. with our band, the members of our Ocean View band playing in the parking lot there. And then we also have performances throughout the evening, and there are over 500 pieces of art displayed at the Art Center. I do want to just tell you about a couple of things that are going on or that are coming up next week. We are asking for input from all of the parents and families in the Ocean View School District. We want input from you on your views and opinion about your child's education in the Ocean View School District. So beginning next week on Monday, we will email to all of the households an online survey link. And if you're a parent of an elementary child and a middle school child, you will receive 2 links, one for the elementary and one for elementary. This is a one-time use survey link. It's completely anonymous, and it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and the survey window will close April 27th. I encourage all of our parents or guardians to provide that input. We'll use it as we develop our local control accountability plan, or our LCAP, so that we can make informed decisions about the future of our school's curriculum, climate, communication, our operations, and more. So please look out for your emails. Also next week, I will be hosting the Superintendent's Parent Forum on Tuesday, April 17th, right here in the boardroom. And I will be sharing information about Measure R, safety measures, as well as just some current happenings in the district. So I hope to see representatives from all of our school, parent representatives from all of our school next Tuesday evening.
Thank you. That brings us to N5, PTA, PTO, PTSA, PTSO, President's Roundtable. Do we have a representative here this evening? Okay. N6, Employee Associations Communications, CSEA.
Good evening. My name is Jason Bozarth, and I am the chapter president for CSEA number 375. It's the top of the month, so I'm just going to drop right into it. I got a lot to say tonight. First and foremost, I would like to extend a hearty congratulations to tonight's honorees. Each of you were selected for your excellent service and dedication. On behalf of everyone at the chapter, we thank you for everything you do. Also tonight, we would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to Trustee Patricia Singer. During the Measure R campaign, I canvassed several neighborhoods with Trustee Singer, and it was crystal clear to me then that her laser focus was always on the kids and the community. Frankly, this community could not ask for a finer representative, and all of us are confident that she will excel at her duties while serving with distinction and decorum. It is our profound hope that we can continue to build upon a relationship of mutual respect and work together to find common ground with the needs of the kids as well as the interests of the classified staff. The next is the employee banquet is speeding towards us, and for the first time I could see that the unity and spirit of cooperation that has been established between all stakeholders is really finally showing dividends. I think the online sales are about to go live very soon, and we are expecting a huge turnout this year because of the retirement incentives, among other things. I would like to take this moment to thank all of the members of the banquet committee, which I will probably be doing several more times as they have done such an excellent job, and all of us are deeply appreciative of all the hard work that is being done. The next update is the delegates have been chosen for the 2018 CSEA conference in Sacramento in July, because there's nothing more happening in Sacramento in the dead heat of summer. But hey, what are you going to do? Last year it was Vegas, and suffice to say Vegas in July was, in a word, unpleasant. Let's see, another update. We are dusting off our political hats this year because I'm sure this election cycle will pass by relatively unnoticed. Please note the sarcasm in my voice. As in reality, there is no cave deep enough or rock big enough to hide under that would let anyone pass this election cycle unnoticed. Last year we were a touch late to the party, and frankly it's already heating up, much to my surprise. So we have already started getting our ducks in a row with the CSEA state organization, but unfortunately the wheels of authority have a terrible tendency to run a little slow on such an organization. That's pretty much all I have time for now. We have a ratification vote next week, and our chapter meeting is also next week. And I will probably begin my readings from the Grapes of Wrath at that time as well. Actually, I was just kidding about that last one.
Thank you. OVTA? Okay, no rep from OVTA. Moving right along. O, reports, superintendent?
None at this time.
Okay, that moves us to consent calendar. As before us tonight for action. We have a motion.
I'll move.
I will second. All right. All those in favor of passing the consent calendar?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with Trustee Briscoe absent. That is going to move us into Q, old business. There is none. So we move on to R, new business. R1, administrative services, use of piggyback contract bid SSTB number 4009/2016-17 awarded to Elliott Elite Modular Leasing and Sales Incorporated by the Savannah School District SSD for the lease of portable buildings at Sunview, and approved lease agreements is in front of us tonight for action. Do we have a motion?
I'll move the recommended action.
I will second. Any discussion? those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Trustee Briscoe absent. Mr. R2, Administrative Services, amended and restated lease agreement between Ocean View School District of Orange County and LaPorte Educational Institution is before us tonight for action. Do we have a motion?
I'll move. I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Trustee Westwell, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to know if this contract has been vetted.
Deputy Superintendent?
Yes.
Thank you. Is this contract time sensitive?
Deputy Superintendent?
Well, it's something that we've been working on for the last 2 years, and their lease ends this June. So in that sense, I would say it's time sensitive.
Okay. And can you briefly describe what has changed between the original contract that has been amended and the contract that's before us tonight? Just a substantial.
The substantial part would be on page 74, page 2 of 18, which would be the yearly annual lease amounts. That would be the most significant change.
And is it easier for you to tell us approximately what percentages these went up?
2.5%.
2.5%. Thank you. And let's see. Can somebody please direct me to Exhibit C? I'm sorry, if I'm looking on page 75, item 6, subpart B, it mentions Exhibit C. And I, for one, cannot locate Exhibit C. It seems to be missing. While we're looking. And also, while we're looking, if you look on page 90, at the top of the page, it says Exhibit B. And I can't find where Exhibit B is referenced anywhere in the contract.
Exhibit B would be located on page 90, 18 of 18.
On page 90, at the top of the page, it says Exhibit B. At the bottom of the page, it says Exhibit A.
At the bottom of the page, Exhibit A is referencing to the entire document. Exhibit B at the top of the page is referencing to the language in the contract. It references Exhibit B, which you just requested.
On Exhibit B, where is that referenced in the document?
You just asked where is Exhibit B, and it's page 90, and it's typed at the top of the page.
I see that, but where earlier in the document is it referenced to send you to this exhibit? There should be someplace in the document that says, go see Exhibit B for the information you're looking for, and I feel like we couldn't find it. On page 75 is Exhibit C, so I would expect it to see somewhere
On page
before.
77, article number 13.
Okay. Thank you for that. And, it says that the VC is going to pay for half of the water charges.
That's correct.
Is that because of the fields?
That is the agreement that we've had from the very beginning when we've leased it, was an agreement that we pay half the water, they pay half the water, and they pay all the other utilities.
Okay. All right, and then let's take a look at page 74. Item 3. Says the term of this lease shall be 5 years, commencing in 2008, ending in 2025. I count that to be 7 years, not 5.
This is a,
It's 7.
it is a 7, so that should be 7, not 5.
I have a deep concern for attention to details in this district that I've mentioned several times. I'd like to make an alternate motion, since this isn't time sensitive. that we send this back to our superintendent to look over this thing, to see if there aren't other things that could cause serious problems, like a big date change like this. That's a serious thing in my opinion. So I'd like to give the superintendent an opportunity to take another look at this thing, and that would be my motion. So the motion is to send this back to the superintendent to take a look at this again and bring it back to us in the future.
So you're moving to, superintendent, you're moving to, let me make sure that I understand.
I'd like to send it back to the superintendent to give her an opportunity to go over this thing in detail again.
So to table it and send it back to the superintendent.
That'd be fine.
Okay. There's a motion in front of us to table this and send it back. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Victor?
Okay, so have we located Exhibit C?
Exhibit C is at the district's sole discretion, and it's not something that we included in the contract.
So it says district at district sole discretion. Oh, I can't see it. Individuality guarantee may require that the execution of a lease rent payment guarantee attached hereto as Exhibit C. Okay, so it didn't have to be there, but the language itself is there
Right.
because just for, could be there
Correct.
as a possibility.
As a possibility.
Okay, so I don't really have a concern if that's not something that is, that's not controversial to me at all. The fact that it says 5 rather than 7 could be a small change. That can be an amendment, or it could be approved with a correction.
Correct.
Okay, so then I would say that I would support, even though I second it, doesn't matter, I don't have to support the original amendment per Robert's rules. So I actually will not be voting in favor of sending it back.
Any more discussion? Trustee Westwell?
I'm not understanding when it says attached here to and it's not attached. That we're finding that to be acceptable. I'm finding it difficult to vote on things that I don't have in front of me.
Trustee Westwell, you'd asked, this has been vetted, this has been vetted, it's been written by our attorneys who wrote the contract, and they said, and since this is just part of contract language, we don't need to ask for this, but it's part of the contract language.
I've never understood a contract where you can leave stuff out and have it still included in the contract. I'm having a great deal of trouble with that, actually. When I sign contracts, I want to have all the documents in front of me so that later on when there's a dispute, you can't say, well, we had this in our closet someplace, but we just didn't put it in the document. You'll have to trust us. We run into problems with that before on loose contracts. And so that's why I'm real particular on this stuff. So however the board wants to vote, I'm not comfortable voting on something that is not before me. Maybe it's just me. Thank you.
Deputy Superintendent, so let me ask you this then, in terms of item B under 6 on page 75. Would that mean that we would be unable to exercise that right of individual guarantee since we did not attach Exhibit C to this document?
There's other language in the contract in terms of the rent. As you may recall, in another matter with a lease, if a leasee fails to pay their lease agreements, we do have legal action that we could bring against them in a 3-day notice that we would formally serve them that they would have to bring their payments up to par. So that language we already have available to us, and one that we've already exercised with another party.
Okay, so what exactly does the individual guarantee?
It's guaranteeing that they're going to pay their lease agreements and the payment that they're entering into.
But isn't this contract in
In itself, it's the same thing, yes.
So I guess my question, not concern really, my question is then why throw this in there at all?
I don't write legal contracts, that's what we leave the attorneys up to, and that's their business, and this is how they represent us, and they write all the language they can put into a contract. There are certain exhibits that sometimes we don't need to be put in there, and when we when we asked for the update for the contract and they reviewed it and sent it back to this was an item that was not returned as part of the exhibits.
And then the 5 years to 7 years was an oversight on my part?
It's an oversight, it's a minor detail, it's a typo, it should be 7 years, and if you look at section 4 where it talks about the entirety of the site and it lists the dates, it goes from 2018-19 to 2024, which is 7 years. So the issue of the 5 or 7 years in the term, the dates are correct, and that 5 or 7 is not a material change because the dates specify the duration.
Okay. So you feel confident we could move forward with this, making the minor change of 7 or 5
I do.
or 7 years?
Because the term states it will commence on July 1st, 2018 and end on June 30th, 2025. That in itself is 7 years, and we go by the term dates of the beginning and the end, which is then substantiated in section 4, which lists the annual lease agreements for each year, which is a total of 7 years.
Okay. Well, the motion for us is, just to summarize for the rest of the board. Did you have a comment? I'm sorry, go ahead, Trustee Westbrook. You have the floor. I'm sorry. Do you have a, go ahead, Trustee.
You know, I review contracts and I can see a little bit of his hesitation as far as attached to. Would it be possible maybe that we could say if chosen to, like if we choose to add that as an exhibit, and then it's an election on our part whether we choose to add that exhibit C or not, versus saying that it's there and then we're all looking for it and it's not there.
Yes, we could.
I think that would satisfy his concern. And I can see that because if I say there's exhibit A, B, and C, I'm going to look for A, B, and C. So this way, if the district chose to attach an exhibit C, then we would look for it.
Okay, so what we would need is we need to take a vote on the current motion as to whether or not we're going to table this. We'll hear from Trustee Westwell as well. Then if that motion fails, then we would need to amend the other motion to include the changes that you're referring to. Trustee Westwell?
What is the ramifications if we do not approve this tonight, we table it, or defer it to the next meeting? Is that going to have a significant impact to us?
Deputy Superintendent?
No.
Okay. Exhibit C and Exhibit B are out of order, which isn't really proper form, and I just see a lot of messiness in here, and I'd like to give the superintendent an opportunity to go back and take a look at it. As far as the date, that's debatable. You could say, well, yeah, that's a typo, and I would probably tend to agree with that. That's what it looks like to me. However, when you have a big discrepancy between 5 and 7 years on a contract like this, that's significant. And when we have significant changes, we're supposed to bring it back. And so all of these things considered, to me, along with this exhibit that isn't showing, I'd like to see that in there. If we're going to mention it, I'd like to see it. I don't know why the other party wouldn't want to see it as well. If I was the other party, I'd want to see everything that's in the contract. For those reasons, I would be in favor of sending it back, getting this thing done in a way that's improved, a better product, let's say, and vote on it again. That's where I'm at.
Deputy Superintendent, did you have a comment?
We can bring it back to the next board meeting and take care of the edits.
Okay, well, let's move to a vote then, since that's your recommendation. Is that your recommendation? Okay. Trustee Blanchard?
Okay, so let's just be clear on what we're doing here. So we can either vote on this motion, which is to lay this on the table so that it can be brought back for the next meeting, so that you can correct the typo from 5 to 7, and you can either take out this C or you can put in a C, even though it says sole discretion. Okay, So we'll hold it up for 2 weeks. That's what the current motion is going on here. Or we can vote the motion down and we could come back and have another motion that says that we make the correction there and move it forward.
Yeah, or we would amend the earlier motion with the corrections.
Right.
And which would you, Deputy Superintendent, which would you feel more comfortable with?
For ease in working with our leasing, they are a good tenant. We could amend the language tonight to change the 5 to 7 years in Article 3. We can amend the language as recommended by Trustee Singer in Article 6B, and then approve it tonight.
And when you say they are a good tenant, are they looking forward to getting this contract approved this evening?
We shared with them, we bring it forward. They, it's something that we've been working on. Their board of trustees is expecting that we approve it tonight as well.
Does it need to go before their board of trustees after it goes before us?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Westwell, you was first.
Thank you, Mr. President. I skipped over a page here. I do have a couple more questions. Page 73, item 1, subpart A, permitted use. Leasee shall at all times comply with all federal, state, and local laws. You know, we've had some discussion here about ICE, and ICE wants to come in here and demand whatever they demand. And that's a federal law. And is this true here? We're telling these people to abide by federal law, and then the state of California says for them not to abide by federal law. It seems to be inconsistent. And maybe somebody can speak to that. Because my understanding of the state law is they're now being, state agencies are being instructed not to comply with the federal law as far as immigration policy. Does anyone know anything about that? It seems to conflict with federal law, and that's.
Trustee Clayton.
Point of order. That's not agendized. We want to talk about immigration policy or state law. We should have that at a different discussion. And I would say, Trustee Sanders, that if we don't want to violate the Brown Act, we move on.
Well, I think it says they shall at all times comply with federal, state, and local laws, statutes, and ordinances, rules, and regulations of any governmental authority in connection with the lessee's use of the property. This will be at the sole expense and cost of the lessee, and the district shall not be responsible for paying yearly costs to comply with any of federal, state, and local laws. So it basically lays it in their lap. They would have to make the decision as to whether or not they apply. They did any of that, and if they chose not to, then they would be held accountable by whatever authority held them accountable. I don't know that this is necessarily our fight, one way or the other. I mean, they are expected, according to this, to comply with all federal, state, and local laws, and if there's a contradiction in those laws, then that's something they would have to fight out in court on their own dollar. Am I reading that correct, Deputy Superintendent?
Yes.
So, we have a motion to table it.
Yes, Mr. President.
Trustee Westbrook, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand the whole federal thing, and they're going to have to fight it. They're going to. I'm just pointing out that we seem to be causing conflicts here, and I'm just pointing it out, just so we all know. Also, up on the very top of this page, 1 of 18, it has the amended and restated lease agreement. Lease agreement is made and entered into this day of blank 2018. That should have the correct date as well. We should put something in there.
Well, we will, when it's approved by the board, we will write that in.
Okay, I'm a little confused because we stated back here what the term is. We provide a certain date of July 1st. And then why do we leave it blank here?
Trustee Singer, is it with comment?
That is left blank until it's actually approved and executed. So you don't want to put a date because say hypothetically we don't approve that today, that we can't put a date on it. It has to be left blank until it's actually approved. It's kind of the way you write a contract, a real estate contract, a lease agreement. You always leave it blank until all parties have come to a consensus, then you date it and finalize it.
I can live with that. I've always seen it the same, whatever. Okay, and those are the only things that I had.
Okay, so we have a motion before us to table this and set it aside. There was a motion and a second by Clayton Tarvin. Now we need a vote. So that would be all those in favor of tabling this motion and bringing it back at a later date with the corrections to it. Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so now we need to decide. The motion before us now is to decide whether we want to accept this as is, or we want to make an amended motion which would correct the mistakes within this, or the, I don't want to call them mistakes, oversights, it's all an oversight.
So I'll make a motion to approve the contract with specific changes. One being on page 74, changing the 5 to a 7 on paragraph 3 under term. And then on page 75, I believe it's paragraph B under section 6, so 6, subsection B, individual guarantee. And I'd like to get from Dr. Conroy what he would consider to be appropriate language for that.
I believe trustee Singer had appropriate language, if she could repeat that.
Say attached here to if chosen to as exhibit C, and then that lets the person know that whether we decided to or not, we will be there.
Okay, I accept that to my amendment.
Do you want to restate the amendments or clear them?
So the amendment is to change the language on page 74, Exhibit A, page 74, paragraph 3, term, change the 5 to a 7, and then on page 75 of Exhibit A, on section 6, subsection B, change it to, where am I, sole discretion, may, where is it? Attached here to, if chosen to. That is my motion.
Discussion, trustee Westbrook?
What's that motion?
We have a motion for this. We need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, now we're open for discussion. Trustee Westbrook?
I'd like to ask the maker of the motion if they would be willing to change swap Exhibit C and Exhibit B and all their corresponding references, because usually when you do a document like this, B comes before C, just for form. That's the only reason.
Trustee Clayton?
Well, I don't really have a problem with it, except for that you can make another motion, you can amend my amendment. But, Dr. Conroy, I'll defer to you. So use the letter B instead of C? Dr. Conroy?
It's semantic, it's reference to something in the contract, whether it's out of order is really not
relevant.
a significant issue. So I recommend leave it as is.
Okay. So I'm leaving it as is. So my motion stands as what I had said before.
Any more discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of the motion as it stands? As amended, I'm sorry, as amended?
Point of clarification, can we just, for the record, state what the question actually is?
Yes. Trustee Clayton, will you state one more time the question, just so we're clear on everything as it stands?
Okay. I have made a motion to accept this contract with minor changes at page 74 of Exhibit A, paragraph 3, term. Change the 5 to a 7. Page 75 of Exhibit A, paragraph 6, subsection B. Change the wording to attached hereto if chosen to.
Let's move to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Did you say aye, Trustee Briscoe?
I did not have a question for the parliamentarian. My hand wasn't quite fast enough.
Okay, is it your question about this motion?
No, my question's about my obligation, right, and responsibility to vote. I would vote yes from what I know and hear, but I've missed most of the deliberations, so should I preclude voting?
Clerk?
No.
Yes, aye.
Okay, ayes voted aye as
Yeah.
well. Motion carries 5-0. That moves us to R3, Administrative Services, Disposal of Electronic Waste, and enter into agreement with Recycle International is in front of us tonight for action. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Trustee Westphal?
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe the price schedule on page 92 is the prices that they're going to pay us for this equipment. It doesn't really say that on here, but that's what I'm assuming. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And have we made any attempt, does any of this equipment actually work?
Deputy Superintendent?
It's not usable. Most of it is right now, I'd say, broken. It's in a stockpile at Park storage yard. So now it's not usable to use in our schools.
Would it be usable to as a saleable product in a third party? So
No.
what I'm thinking is there's two conditions of this equipment. It's old, it's run down, and then there's equipment, well, let's say there's three conditions. There's equipment that's just broken, doesn't work at all. And then there's equipment that's just old and we're getting rid of it. It's not useful anymore, it's lived past its useful lifespan and could actually be sold to somebody else. So you're saying none of that equipment is actually saleable to anybody else?
I think where you're going is if we were to have a surplus sale where we actually have a backyard sale to sell it, it would cost us more in terms of manpower to identify those possibly usable pieces of equipment, to host a yard sale, and to go through the whole motions of advertising. It would end up us costing us money as opposed to receiving funding for disposing of it.
Great answer. Thank you for that. And let's see. Shoot. If a private citizen donates equipment like that to a charity, they can get a write-off. We can't get any kind of write-off for anything we donated equipment, could we? Don't pay tax.
Well,
Yeah,
we're not technically donating it because we're getting paid for the disposal of it.
I'm just trying to think of ways we could bring extra revenue in here, and
This
it's not going to work.
this is the greatest opportunity to bring revenue in.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. R4. Administrative Services file notice of completion. R.J. Dom Construction Company on restroom modernization is in front of us tonight for action. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I will second.
Second. Trustee Singer, any discussion? Trustee Westphal?
I know you probably told me this before, but I'm going to ask again. Why is this taking so long?
We're in the process of closing out. We're just dotting our I's and crossing the T's. We've already had a formal settlement. This is done, and we're just closing out the projects with the County of Orange.
I understand. It looks like the settlement was back in September 5th. And so normally don't we, as soon as we do a settlement like that, we do a notice of completion right away? I'm trying to understand why it's taken this many months to get to where we're at. And I guess the secondary question is how would this impact our interim budget that just came out? Are we holding money? If we would have actually paid this earlier when we should have, would that have had a major impact on our budget?
We're not paying anything out. We've already paid off the contractor. This is just a formality with the County of Orange closing it out. For all legal practicalities, this project is closed out. The contractor has been paid off.
Fund 35, that is not, Fund 21 is the Measure R?
Correct.
And Fund, remind me what
Those are state monies that we received for the last modernization project.
1D money? 1D?
I don't recall the exact number.
Okay. Thank you.
Any discussion? Trustee Clayton Tarpon?
Yes, it's 1D money.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Bringing us to R5, Educational Services Independent Contract Agreement between Ocean View School District of Orange County and California Arts Project for action. I will move. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee Westbrook.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is, money's going to be expended for the VAPA Academy. And it looks like we're doing 20 teachers for that program and then 9 teachers outside of that program. Why has this money been earmarked for VAPA and then 9 teachers outside of the VAPA program are also participating? What's the reason for that?
Superintendent?
I'm going to let Mrs. Brotleiner address your question.
The additional teachers, the A and C is arts. We have allowed them to participate in the visual training last year, and it's being offered to them as well. And in addition, we're looking at the expansion into a middle school and allowing teachers out of middle school to be able to carry the thread that they're leaving in Lakeview. So those would be the additional teachers included.
Why did we split it up 6,000 the way we did?
We did because the LCAP, as stated here, under 5.1 is supporting half of it, and then the Title I monies from Westmont are supporting the other half.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. R6, Human Resources Public Hearing on Proposed Openers for Contract Negotiations between Ocean View School District of Orange County and California School Employees Association and its Chapter 375 for the 2017-2018 school year is in front of us tonight as a public hearing. And I will open it for at 7:23 for 1 minute. Thank you. If anyone would like to speak at the public hearing, come to the microphone now, quickly. We'll give you time. Closing the hearing at 7:24. That brings us to R7, Human Resources Quarterly Summary on Williams Uniform Complaints. Education Code Section 35186, April 2018 is in front of us tonight for information. All right, next, R8, Human Resources Resolution number 211718, a resolution of the Ocean View School District of Orange County designating May 14th to May 18th, 2018 as the week of the employee is in front of us tonight for action.
Move to approve.
I will second.
All right, any discussion? Trustee Clayton.
Just want to again say that I'm very pleased that we have gone to Employee of the Week. When I first started on the Board of Trustees here in Ocean View School District back in 2012, we had different weeks. We had the certificated week, we had the classified week, there was a management week, and I felt that it was wasn't conducive to unity and togetherness. And wanted everybody to be recognized all the same. I believe that in the Ocean View School District, every employee has tremendous value, and I value all of the employees the exact same way, no matter what your position is. So I'm very pleased and want to thank our staff for everything they do, and I do appreciate you. We'll be looking forward to this designation from May 14th to May 18th of 2018 as employee, the week of the employee. And that's it.
Trustee Singer?
I would like to suggest that these dates get approved way sooner. From experience being a PTO president, it's really hard when we're planning our school year and these dates haven't been set, so we're all making up our own dates. So most of our schools have already selected their dates, and most of them will not match these dates. So the PTOs like to honor the staff in the entire week, and so we try to make sure that we're all in the same page. And I asked, a while back, like, when are we setting those dates? And nobody had those dates, so we just had to pick a random date in May and just make it work. So I would recommend that in the future this gets settled, like maybe in January, like early on, so that it can flip accordingly with PTO precedents.
Good point, Superintendent.
We set a calendar a year ahead, so we can be sure to include this on the calendar.
So this would be approved for next year then, at this on this date?
No, this is for this year, but we could,
Bring something
I don't
forward.
think it would be appropriate to bring a resolution for
Well, not right
employee
now.
of the week in September, but we would know when school opened. We could select a date. We select many dates for many events, usually in May or June. The previous year, our cabinet sets what we call an operational and master calendar of events. For example, like when is Lakeview going to have their parent STEAM night? We select those dates almost. We do it in May or June for the following school year, so we can include this. So we could inform the PTA at the roundtable early in the year.
Okay. Trustee Briscoe, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm reading the actual resolution. It says week of the employee on page 107, and we've referenced this twice on the agenda and on page 106 as week. Down here anyway. It's employee week. It's not It's not a week of the. It's just odd. A week of the employee. It's not a week of the employee. It's. It looked like employee of the week. It says employee of the week somewhere in here, and it was wrong. I'll have to find it again. I'm fine, and I'll be supporting it. Okay.
All right. Hearing no discussion, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0, bringing us to R9.
That's good.
Superintendent's Office, California School Board Association agenda. Online service agreement is before us tonight for action. Motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Trustee Westphal?
Thank you, Mr. President. Reading through here, it looks like we're getting 2 years for the price of one this time around. Yay, that's a great savings. Now, bad news. Are they discontinuing this product? Is that why they're offering us this slowly? What's the reason that we're getting such a great deal this year? My fear is that they're going to discontinue it or something.
This is probably the premier product for agendas for school boards, because this is sponsored by CSBA, the California School Boards Association. So we are what's called a legacy client. So they want to make sure that we continue to use this service. So they've offered it to many school districts who have been long-term clients.
Okay.
So no, I don't have any reason to believe that they're going to discontinue the service.
Okay, so they want to retain us as a customer. Is that what you feel?
That's my understanding.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And that brings us to S. Any other public communications to the Board of Trustees? Clerk, Lady Darby?
We don't have any this evening.
All right. T, future agenda items as requested by board members. Okay, moving on. Board of Trustees Roundtable. How about Trustee Briscoe? We didn't hear from you at the beginning.
I was on a river trip down the Mississippi, Old Man River, for a week and some set of days, and planes all got jacked up and delayed, so I wasn't able to be here imminently at the start of the meeting. And it was interesting to see how the rest of the country lives. And the rest of the country lives very poorly compared to California on all fronts. We're blessed, truly blessed and fortunate to live in California in our Southern California, not Southern U.S. splendor. So I'm glad to be back in full splendor.
Trustee Singer?
I'm just really excited to be here tonight, and I'm really thrilled to be working with all of you, and I look forward to creating relationships and making sure that we remember that kids always are first, and that should always be our priority, and I'm really excited for this journey, so thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Trustee Westwell?
I'd like to once again welcome Trustee Singer to our board.
Trustee Clayton-Jarvis?
So, I am very happy and actually very pleased that Trustee Singer's with us here this evening. We're back to our full board, and it's good to see the trustee that's so invested in the school district, having 2 students attending our schools, one at elementary and one at middle school, and being so involved in the PTO and all the different things that are going on in the Ocean View School District. So really pleased that you're here. Congratulations. And I know I can speak for all of my colleagues when I say we're looking forward to working with you. Again, to mention tomorrow at the different schools about Happy and Healthy Children for the Raise Foundation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. And all of the different schools are going to be planting these pinwheel gardens with beautiful blue colors. And I look forward to being at Lakeview tomorrow to see and experience the event. And being a teacher and a mandated reporter, I know that I take it very serious when I hear of a child that's in pain or in agony or being abused. And it's something that we should all, every one of us should pay attention to the fact when a child is in distress, and make sure that we do everything we can to help the children that we serve. President's Outers had mentioned the Art Center, downtown Huntington Beach. There's going to be the art exhibit for all the different school districts, and we are featured. Our Ocean View School District is featured on Friday at 5 p.m. And I again want to give my colleague, Trustee Briscoe, credit where credit is due for all of his hard work to bring us into that program for all those years that we were not included. I have no idea why, but Trustee Briscoe saw fit to make that change, and I give him credit for having that spirit to get it done. And lastly, I will be attending the Superintendent's Forum for Parents on Tuesday the 17th. I attended last year with the superintendent. She did a great job presenting information to the public and to the parents, and she took questions, and it's just great. She's just wonderful, and I thank you, Dr. Hansen, for all that you do for our parents, because they need that forum to come and be able to speak to you in a more informal way, and where they can dialogue with you, because here at the board meeting, we can't, per the Brown Act, you can't dialogue. You come to public comments, and you talk at us, and we listen, and we're not allowed per the law to speak back, and so it's such a great opportunity for our community members to be able to come and speak to the superintendent. So thank you, Dr. Hansen. That's it for now.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you once again to all the members of the gallery for sticking it out with us. Your hard work is appreciated, and glad you're taking a part in our democracy, Trustee Briscoe. And I would like to once again, well, I don't think I did officially welcome Trustee Singer to the board. Thank you. I look forward to working with you as well. Yeah, I would like to see all of you, if possible, at the art exhibit. We have quite a lot of things going on there. But other than that, I will be brief, since brevity is the soul of wit, and say thank you. We do need to go to closed session, so we will report out from Building C at the end of closed session.
I was gonna make a motion to adjourn.
We can't, nope, we have to adjourn.
You make a motion.
All right.